got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
The first one is to do with that episode with you and your sister where she gets kidnapped because that billionaire guy's got his sick daughter, you know, using the nanobots or whatever to try and cure her.
You're a big fan of the sister stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
We're sensing a genie theme here.
Well, I have to say, all those episodes with her in it, they're always very entertaining to watch, the sibling rivalry in that. But the question I wanted to ask is, there's that scene with you and Colonel Shepherd when Jeannie's in the coma, and you're having to tell Colonel Shepherd how you're delaying the progress of the nanite infection. He's like, how do you do that? Oh, I broke her legs. So I'm just wondering, did you do a scene afterwards, after she woke up, and where you got to the point where you explained what you had to do to delay the progress of the nanite infection and her rehab?
Like, did I tell Jeannie that I broke her legs?
Yeah.
I mentioned it a few times. I actually offered to help get her into the role. It's like, Kate, I'm very method, so this is going to hurt a lot. And we haven't invented the nanites yet.
Sorry. Well, that would have been a very interesting fly-in-the-wall scene to watch, to see how she would have reacted. But my other question was, is with Dr. Zelenka, who seems to be very much underappreciated by Dr. McKay.
Sorry, who?
Dr. Zelenka.
Dr. Zelenka. Oh, Zelenka, right.
Yeah.
Doctor now?
I'm just wondering, like, he always seems to be sort of rather put upon by Rodney and sort of underappreciated. Are there any sort of scenes where Dr. Zelenka sort of managed to, what's the word, upstage Rodney?
Never. He definitely had a few, you know, throughout the seasons, I think he definitely had moments where he got to quote-unquote shine in a dim, feeble light. But I think one of the things I love about McKay is that he doesn't do the right thing all the time. And I think Zelenka is a perfect example of someone who, he's obviously uncomfortable with someone who's somewhere in the range of his intelligence. And it's hard to distinguish between David and McKay, isn't it? So I love that relationship because he does put him down. He's absolutely vicious to him all the time. But people are like that. If you don't like someone, that's what you're like with them. I mean, you know, so it was one of those things that I was always glad that there were moments where you saw sort of there was a little insight into how he really does actually truly care for the guy. But on a day-to-day basis, it's like, you know, it's like working in the office, right? You can't stand the guy in the cubicle beside you. That poor cubicle with Zelenka.
I loved you in Sanctuary.
Oh, thank you.
And
the web version, I guess.
The web version.
I never made it to TV. I got cut on the TV one.
Because I love Larry Tolson, and then of course we watched the Sci-Fi Network version. No Larry Tolson, there's a big buff guy sitting there. I'm like, what happened to David? And I thought that maybe.
I tried working out, but I guess I showed up greased up and all.
Did Paul McGillian play Squid, the guy who sort of informs them?
I don't know. I really don't know. The problem is that they were shooting at the same time that we were doing season 5, so we're so on different, you know, completely different times. They were basically shooting nights, we're shooting days.
I just want to say I love Larry. He's so
oh, thank you. Yeah.
The whole white gang.
I think it's a little sad that
so well.
You know he's a serial killer.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. I mean, when I first started acting, I always played psychotics. I mean, I was always, I don't know what happened. At some point, I suddenly switched it went from being scary psychotic to just being kind of dorky. I was like, you know, I want to be James Dean. I ended up, you know, being Frasier. Space. Oh, nihilist. Who's next? Very good. Oh, hello. You should like sell like aerobics tapes. The amount of jumping around you have to do with the Q&A, yeah. I got a question. Super. Hey, should I guess it? Is the best question yet. That was the question.
How's it going, Rodney?
What happened to the question? Oh.
Yeah, my question is, have you used or have you heard of GNU Linux? And if not, what operating system do you use?
I was a big Unix fan. One of the reasons why I was so happy about getting back into Macs was because they were running basically this Berkeley BSD, right? Isn't that what they were running on the Macs for the new OS X? Is that right, Berkeley?
Yeah, it's based on these.
Yeah, which was one of the things I was one of the first people in Toronto to spend ridiculous amounts of money to get on the internet, and it was all a Unix system. So basically, I learned all those useful commands for going with the wrong computers at the wrong time. And, so I always loved that side of stuff. But I'm a Mac guy now. It's so easy. What? You love me? So I think he needs a mic.
No, he doesn't.
Or a muzzle. But no, I've not used that version of Unix. But I played with Red Hat for a while, and unfortunately, I only knew enough to really get in trouble. I was a typical sort of actor approach to it was like, okay, so I've got 2 Unix commands that I know. I want to now hack into the Pentagon. Why is this not working? List.
Who would you sing gay for?
What was that?
Who would you sing gay for?
I'm sorry, Kevin. Repeat that. Kevin's just fishing, I think, is what it is. I mean, at some point he's hoping I'll finally just be a cave. Okay.
Yeah.
Next question.
How do you feel about techno band? Because playing get lots of it. How do you cope with that?
It's funny, the techno babble is a funny story, but I was talking with Brad Wright at one point. I think we were doing the Shrine. I said, oh, what's so great about this episode is that it's almost like being a mute. I don't have to do the techno babble. He said, what? I don't have to, all the techno babble. I usually have to have so much techno babble to do. He says, that's not techno babble. That's gold. I was like, yeah, fine, you spend your weekends learning it. I'm actually, this is always like a shock to people. I am a very, very slow learner of lines. Like, people will come up to me, we would do like these little TV promos and stuff, and they'll say, oh, here, then they'll flash a sign at you and say, here, just say this. I get it wrong, like, every time. Completely wrong. They're like, how do you remember all the techno stuff, and you can't repeat something that someone said, like 1 second ago? And I spend ridiculous amounts of time learning lines. So basically, here's how it goes. So Friday night, you finish shooting, you have like a nice night off. Saturday morning, you wake up, you go through the next script for the next week, learn as much of it as you possibly can. Sunday, you focus on Monday and Tuesday, and then Monday you're back at work. So that's basically how it works for me. So basically, the 9 months of shooting is pretty solid. So Technobabble, I hate it. No, I love it. It's a lot of fun to do, and I take a certain sort of twisted, sort of masochistic pride in making sure that I know this stuff. There's also nothing worse than showing up on set and not knowing your lines. I've seen it happen a few times, and it's just, it's painful. It's painful to watch. So, so I'm a bit of a nerd with learning the lines, and I also tend to look stuff up, so I can go, wrong. I said it's here. I should not. That is wrong.